I'm bleeding onto a $5,000 rug, and the most beautiful woman I've ever seen just asked me to marry her. Let me back up. My name is Iris Lynn, and 3 hours ago, I was a cybersecurity expert with student loans and a dying succulent named Basil. Now I'm zip-tied to a chair in what I can only describe as Mafia Pinterest aesthetics, because apparently crime pays well enough for interior design, and the woman holding the knife looks like she stepped out of a cologne commercial, but make it threatening. Her name is Alisandra Bellini. I know this because she introduced herself right before cutting the zip ties, which was confusing, but also kind of hot in a way I'll need therapy to unpack later. You're the hacker, she says, and it's not a question. I prefer cybersecurity professional, but sure, let's go with criminal, I reply, because my mouth has never understood self-preservation. My wrists are raw and there's definitely blood somewhere on my person, but I can't tell if it's mine or from the guy who shoved me in the trunk 20 minutes ago. Alisandra doesn't smile. I'm starting to think she might not know how. My cousin hired you for a job. Your cousin threatened to release my browser history if I didn't hack a vault, so let's not romanticize the employment terms here. And that's when she does something unexpected. She laughs. It's brief, like she's surprised it escaped, and then her face goes back to gorgeous stoic mob enforcer, and I wonder if I imagined it. Elena has terrible recruitment strategies, Alisandra says, and there's something in her voice that sounds almost like an apology. The job is tonight. You'll be paid well. You'll also be working directly with me. And if I say no? She tilts her head and the movement makes her hair catch the light, and I hate that I'm noticing this while actively being threatened. You won't. She's right. I won't. Because 2 days ago Elena Romano showed up at my apartment with photos of every legally questionable thing I've ever done online, which is embarrassingly extensive, and I folded faster than laundry I've been avoiding for 3 weeks. But here's the thing nobody tells you about getting blackmailed into crime. Sometimes your handler is so attractive it becomes a workplace hazard. The heist is supposed to be simple. I crack the security system at a downtown gallery. Alisandra and her crew grab a painting worth $7 million. We're in and out in 12 minutes. I've studied the blueprints. I've memorized the guard rotations. I've had 4 panic attacks and stress-bought a cheese board I'll never use. What I haven't prepared for is Alisandra in tactical gear. You're staring, she says. You're distracting, I reply, and then immediately want to die because who says that to a mob enforcer 12 seconds before committing felony theft? She almost smiles again. Almost. We're in position outside the gallery and my laptop is balanced on my knees and my hands are definitely shaking, which is not ideal for precision hacking, but Alisandra is standing so close I can smell her perfume and it's doing things to my focus. 30 seconds, she says. I bypass the first firewall. Then the second. My fingers are flying across the keyboard and I'm in the zone until Alisandra leans over my shoulder to watch, and suddenly I've forgotten every programming language I've ever learned. Problem, she asks. Nope. No problems. Just hacking. Very normal hacking happening right now. I break through the 3rd security layer and kill the cameras, and Alisandra makes this satisfied sound that I'm going to think about later when I'm not actively committing crimes. You're good at this, she says. Things I learned from YouTube tutorials and crippling anxiety. The crew moves in. I'm monitoring security feeds and watching Alisandra on camera as she walks through the gallery like she owns it, which technically her family might. I haven't asked about their full portfolio. She's elegant. Controlled. Completely unbothered by the fact that we're stealing art in real time. And then everything goes catastrophically wrong. Iris. Alisandra's voice in my earpiece is sharp. We have a problem. Define problem. The painting is fake. I pull up the inventory records, cross-reference the gallery database, and my stomach drops into my shoes. Someone switched it. Recently. Like within the last 6 hours recently. Who? I'm already tracing digital footprints, following the breadcrumbs through server logs and security access, and when I find the answer I actually laugh, because the universe has a terrible sense of humor. Alisandra, don't freak out, but I know who stole the painting. Who? My ex-girlfriend. There's a pause that lasts 3 seconds too long. Explain. Remember how I mentioned I had browser history worth blackmailing over? Yeah, so Victoria is an art thief apparently, which is new information for me too. And according to these logs, she knew we were coming and she got here first, and I think this might be personal because we had a really bad breakup that involved a fish tank and some regrettable accusations. Your ex-girlfriend is a thief. In my defense, I thought she worked in marketing. Another pause. Then Alisandra says something in Italian that I don't understand, but sounds extremely creative. We need to leave. Now. But it's too late because alarms are screaming and lights are flooding the gallery, and I hear sirens in the distance, and this is it. This is how I die. In a van outside a gallery with a laptop and unrequited attraction to a woman who could definitely kill me. Change of plans. Alisandra's voice is calm in a way that seems illegal during active crisis. Get in the building. Service entrance. 30 seconds. That's the opposite of leaving. Do you trust me? I don't. I really don't. I've known her for 6 hours and most of that involved threats and zip ties. But I'm grabbing my laptop and running anyway because apparently my brain has fully abandoned logic in favor of following the hot mob woman into certain danger. I make it through the service entrance as police cars screech into the parking lot. Alisandra grabs my hand and pulls me through a maintenance corridor, and her hand is warm and steady, and I'm probably having a medical emergency because my heart is doing unauthorized activities in my chest. Where are we going? Vault. If we can't have the real painting, we're taking what your ex left behind. What if she didn't leave anything behind? She did. This was a message. People like Victoria always leave messages. We're running through darkness and Alisandra hasn't let go of my hand, and I'm trying not to read into that while also trying not to trip over my own feet. We reach the vault, and I'm already pulling up the security override on my phone because apparently I can't stop committing crimes even when it's the worst possible idea. 2 minutes, Alisandra says, and she's watching the corridor while I work, and there's something almost protective in the way she's positioned herself between me and the exit. The vault opens. Inside is the real painting plus approximately 6 other stolen pieces of art and a handwritten note that makes my blood pressure spike. What does it say? Alisandra asks. I read it out loud. Hi, Iris. Surprised? You always were terrible at reading people. Enjoy prison. Zoxo Victoria. P.S. Alisandra is hot. Does she know you have a crush on her? The silence that follows is so profound I can hear my own mortality. You have a crush on me, Alisandra says, and it's not a question. Can we focus on the active crime scene happening around us maybe? After this. We're discussing this. If you're enjoying this absolute disaster of a heist and want to see where this goes, hit that subscribe button because it gets so much worse from here and I promise you're not ready. She's pulling paintings off the wall and I'm helping because what else am I going to do? And we're stuffing priceless art into a maintenance cart like we're shoplifting from Target, and the absurdity of the situation hits me so hard I start laughing. This is not funny, Alisandra says, but there's something in her voice that sounds almost amused. Your cousin blackmailed me. My ex is apparently a master thief with a vendetta. We're stealing already stolen art, and you just found out I have a crush on you from a literal crime scene note. If I don't laugh, I'll have a breakdown in this vault, and that feels undignified. Alisandra stops, looks at me, and for the first time since we met, she actually smiles. It's devastating. I need to sit down, but there's no time because footsteps are echoing down the corridor and we're about to have company. Can you get us out of here? She asks. I pull up the building schematic on my phone. There's a server room that connects to the parking garage. If I can loop the camera feeds and unlock the right doors, maybe. How long? 90 seconds if I'm brilliant. 3 minutes if I'm human. Be brilliant. I'm typing so fast my fingers are blurring and Alisandra is wheeling the cart full of stolen art, and I'm rerouting security protocols while simultaneously having a small crisis about the fact that she smiled at me, and I'm going to think about that smile for the rest of my life, which might be very short if I don't concentrate. 60 seconds. The corridor cameras loop. 40 seconds. The server room door unlocks. 20 seconds. I can hear voices getting closer, and they don't sound friendly. Go, 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 I whisper, and we're moving through the server room, and it's hot and loud and cramped, and at one point Alisandra has to press against me to squeeze past a rack of equipment, and I'm fairly certain I stop breathing. We make it to the parking garage. We load the art into a nondescript sedan that I'm choosing not to ask questions about. We're pulling out of the garage when police cars flood the gallery entrance behind us. That was close, I say, and my voice is shaking and my hands are shaking and, honestly, my entire body is shaking. Alisandra is driving like we're on a casual Sunday trip and not fleeing a crime scene. You did well. I committed multiple felonies. You were brilliant. And the way she says it makes something warm and terrible bloom in my chest, because I'm fairly certain I'm catching feelings for a mobster during active getaway, and that seems like poor decision-making even for me. We drive in silence for 10 minutes. Then Alisandra says, "Your ex Victoria. Tell me about her." Why? Because she knows about you. About us. And that's a problem. There is no us. Alisandra glances at me, and there's something in her expression I can't read. Not yet. My brain short-circuits. I'm sorry, what? She's going to come after you again. This was just the opening move. People don't steal paintings and leave notes unless they're planning something bigger. Okay, but can we circle back to the not yet comment because I think I'm having heart palpitations. Alisandra almost smiles again, and I'm starting to think she enjoys watching me malfunction. Focus, Iris. Your ex. What does she want? I think about Victoria. About our relationship that was intense and toxic and ended with her screaming that I'd regret leaving her. About how she always needed to win, to have the last word, to prove she was smarter than everyone else. She wants me to suffer, I say quietly. She wants me to know that she's better than me. And she wants to destroy anything that makes me happy. So if she thinks you care about me, she'll come after you. Yeah. We're pulling up to a warehouse that I'm again choosing not to ask questions about, and Alisandra parks and turns to look at me properly, and her eyes are dark and serious. I can protect you, she says. I don't need protection, I need therapy and maybe witness relocation. Iris. The way she says my name should be illegal. It's soft and sharp at the same time, and I'm melting into this car seat like cheese on a panini. What if I don't want you to protect me? I ask. What if I want to handle this myself? Then I'll help you handle it. But you're not doing this alone. And that's when I realize I'm in so much trouble because Alisandra Bellini is looking at me like I matter, and I've known her for exactly 7 hours, and I'm pretty sure I'd follow her into active gunfire at this point, which seems like a problem. If you want to see how Iris handles having both a mob enforcer and a psychotic ex after her, smash that like button and drop a comment telling me your worst breakup story, because I need to know I'm not alone in this chaos. We unload the art. The warehouse is full of people I don't recognize, and they're treating Alisandra with this careful respect that tells me she's more important than I realized. One of them, a guy with impressive tattoos and questionable fashion choices, keeps staring at me. That's the hacker, he asks Alisandra. That's Iris, Alisandra corrects, and there's an edge to her voice that makes him back off immediately. I'm examining the paintings we stole, which feels surreal, because I'm a cybersecurity expert, not an art thief, but apparently I'm multi-talented now. Each piece has a small authentication mark in the corner, and I'm photographing them with my phone when I notice something weird. Alisandra. These marks. They're not gallery stamps. She's next to me immediately. What are they? I zoom in on my phone and run the image through a reverse search, and my stomach drops. They're Victoria's signature. She's been marking her work. These paintings? She's been stealing them for months. We just robbed her personal collection. The silence in the warehouse is deafening. So she set us up, Alisandra says slowly. She planted the fake painting. She knew we'd go to the vault. She wanted us to steal from her. But why? And that's when my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I should not answer. I absolutely should not answer. I answer. Hi, Iris. Victoria's voice is exactly as I remember, smooth and cold and dangerous. Did you like my note? What do you want, Victoria? I want to play a game. I have information about Alisandra's family, about their operations, about where they're vulnerable. And I'm going to give that information to their enemies unless you do exactly what I say. My blood goes cold. You're bluffing. Am I? Check your email. I sent you a preview. Just a taste of what I know. I pull up my email with shaking hands. There's a message from Victoria with attachments. Financial records. Shipping routes. Names and addresses. Enough information to dismantle the entire Bellini operation. How did you get this? I whisper. I've been planning this for 6 months, babe. Ever since you left me. I knew you'd end up working for them eventually. You're so predictable. And now I have leverage. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to help me take down the Bellini family. You're going to use your access to destroy them from the inside. And if you don't, I release everything and watch Alisandra's world burn. Why are you doing this? Because you don't get to be happy. You don't get to move on. You don't get to fall for some mob princess and live your best queer crime life while I'm alone. So choose, Iris. Help me or watch her family fall. She hangs up. I'm staring at my phone and Alisandra is watching me, and I can feel the entire warehouse waiting for me to explain, and I don't know what to say because my ex-girlfriend just declared war, and I'm caught in the middle. Iris. Alisandra's voice is careful. What did she want? I could lie. I could pretend it was nothing. But Alisandra is looking at me with those dark, serious eyes, and I'm exhausted and terrified, and I can't do this alone. So I tell her everything. When I finish, Alisandra is quiet for a long moment. Then she says, she underestimated you. How? She thinks you'll choose safety over loyalty. She thinks you'll run. She doesn't know you're stubborn and brilliant and too proud to let her win. You've known me for 7 hours. I'm a good judge of character. And then she does something that stops my heart. She takes my hand. Just holds it. Her thumb brushes across my knuckles, and it's such a simple gesture, but it feels like a promise. We're going to handle this together, she says. You and me. But I need to know you're in this. Fully. Because what I'm about to suggest is going to sound insane. More insane than everything that's already happened tonight? She smiles that devastating smile again. Much more. Comment below if you think Iris should trust Alisandra or run for her life, because honestly, I'm not sure I'm making good choices anymore. Alisandra gathers her crew. There are 6 of them, all watching me with varying levels of suspicion except for one woman who keeps winking at me, which is confusing, but I'm rolling with it. Victoria thinks she has leverage, Alisandra says. She thinks Iris will break. She's wrong. We're going to use her arrogance against her. How? I ask. You're going to pretend to help her. Feed her false information. Make her think she's winning. And while she's focused on taking down my family, we're going to figure out who she's working with and destroy her operation from the inside. That's your plan? Double agent my ex-girlfriend. You have a better idea? I don't. I really don't. But the thought of getting close to Victoria again makes my skin crawl because I remember what she was like when we were together. Controlling. Manipulative. Convinced that love meant ownership. She'll know I'm lying, I say. She always knew when I was lying. Then don't lie. Tell her the truth. Tell her you're angry at me. Tell her you're scared. Tell her you want out. She'll believe it because it's what she wants to hear. And what if I actually want out? Alisandra's expression softens. Then you walk away right now. I'll handle Victoria. You'll be safe. But you won't be free. She'll always have this over you. She'll always be able to find you. She's right. I hate that she's right. Victoria doesn't let go of things. Doesn't forgive. I left her and she's spent 6 months planning revenge, and she won't stop until she's destroyed me. Unless I destroy her first. Okay, I hear myself say. I'm in. Alisandra squeezes my hand. Then we start tomorrow. Tonight, you stay here. It's safe. Victoria doesn't know about this location. Where are you going? To talk to my family. If Victoria has information about our operations, I need to know what she knows and how she got it. She's leaving. She's actually leaving, and panic claws up my throat because I just agreed to double-cross my psychotic ex and I'm in a warehouse full of criminals, and Alisandra is the only thing making me feel remotely safe. Hey! She's in front of me again, hand on my cheek, and the gesture is so gentle I could cry. You're safe here. I promise. And Iris? Thank you. For choosing to stay. I haven't chosen anything yet. Yes, you have. She leaves, and I'm standing in this warehouse, and the woman who was winking at me earlier introduces herself as Daniela and offers me pizza, which seems absurdly normal given the circumstances. "So you're the hacker Alisandra can't stop talking about," Daniela says. She talks about me? Constantly. It's annoying. She's never like this. Like what? Daniela gives me a look that suggests I'm being deliberately dense. Interested. In anything. Anyone. Alisandra doesn't do feelings. But you? She's got feelings. And I want to ask more, but my phone is buzzing again and it's Victoria, and I know I have to answer because the game has already started. Ready to play? Victoria asks. What do you want me to do? First task. Get me the security codes for the Bellini shipping warehouse on 5th. You have 24 hours. She hangs up and I'm staring at Daniela and she's staring back and I say, I need those codes. Alisandra said you'd ask for something. She said to give you whatever you need. She's trusting me with classified information to give to her enemy. That's insane. Daniela shrugs. Alisandra doesn't trust people. But she trusts you. Don't make her regret it. The weight of that settles in my chest like stones. I'm being trusted with something I haven't earned, and I'm about to betray that trust even though it's part of the plan and my head is spinning. I spend the night on a surprisingly comfortable couch in the warehouse office going through the information Victoria sent. The financial records are detailed. Too detailed. Someone inside the Bellini family has been feeding her information for months. There's a mole. I'm cross-referencing transaction dates with security logs when Alisandra comes back. It's 3 in the morning and she looks exhausted, and there's blood on her collar that I'm choosing not to ask about. You're still awake, she says. Couldn't sleep. Also, I think you have a mole in your organization. I show her what I found. The pattern of information leaks. The timing. The access level required. Alisandra's face goes carefully blank as she reads, and I've learned that means she's furious. Who? She asks. I don't know yet. But whoever it is has been working with Victoria for at least 4 months. They knew about the gallery heist. They probably told her we were coming. Which means they know about you. The implication hangs in the air like smoke. Someone in Alisandra's organization knows I'm working with her. Knows I'm the hacker. Knows I'm helping set a trap for Victoria. I need to find them before Victoria does, I say. We need to find them. She sits next to me on the couch, and we're so close I can feel the heat of her and smell the expensive perfume under the copper scent of blood, and I should move away, but I don't. Why are you helping me? I ask quietly. You could handle this without me. You don't need a hacker who comes with this much baggage. Alisandra is quiet for a long moment. Then she says, when you were cracking that vault earlier, you were so focused. Completely in your element. And you looked at me and smiled like we were sharing a secret. Like we were in this together. I haven't felt that in years. Maybe ever. My heart is doing unauthorized backflips. That's not a good reason to trust someone you just met. I know. I'm going to do it anyway. And then she kisses me. It's soft and careful and asking permission, and I'm kissing her back before my brain can catch up because apparently we're doing this now. We're kissing in a warehouse at 3 in the morning while planning to take down my ex-girlfriend, and there's a mole in her organization, and this is objectively the worst timing possible. She pulls back. Sorry. I shouldn't have. Do it again. So she does. And this time it's less careful and more desperate, and her hand is in my hair, and I'm pulling her closer, and somewhere in the back of my mind I know this is complicated and dangerous and probably a terrible idea, but I've made worse decisions in the last 12 hours. And at least this one feels good. We break apart, and she's looking at me like I'm something precious, and it's terrifying. This is a bad idea, I say. Terrible idea. Victoria is going to lose her mind. I'm counting on it. And I realize that's part of Alisandra's plan. She wants Victoria to know. Wants her to see that I've moved on. Wants to use this thing between us as a weapon. If you're still watching this absolute mess of feelings and felonies, subscribe because the next part involves confronting my ex, and I'm definitely going to need emotional support. The next morning I meet Victoria at a cafe she chose, which immediately puts me on edge because she always needs to control the territory. She's sitting at a corner table looking exactly like I remember. Beautiful. Cold. Dangerous. Iris. You look terrible. Thinks I've been committing crimes and having a crisis. She smiles, and it doesn't reach her eyes. Did you get what I asked for? I slide an envelope across the table. Inside are the security codes Daniela gave me. Real codes. To a real warehouse. That's completely empty because Alisandra moved everything last night. Victoria opens the envelope and examines the codes, and I'm trying to look nervous, which isn't hard because I am nervous. Good girl, she says, and my skin crawls. See? I knew you'd make the right choice. What happens now? Now you keep feeding me information. And if you're very good, maybe I'll let you walk away when this is over. You're going to destroy them. I'm going to destroy her. The family is just collateral damage. This is about Alisandra, Iris. This is about making sure you don't get to be happy with someone else. There it is. The truth underneath all the strategy and planning. Victoria doesn't care about the Bellini family or the art or the money. She cares about hurting me. About making sure I know that leaving her was a mistake. She doesn't mean anything to me, I lie. I'm just trying to survive. Really? Because my sources say you two were very cozy at the warehouse last night. My blood goes cold. You're having me followed. I'm protecting my investment. And Iris? If you're playing me, if you're helping her, I will know. And when I know, I will make you watch while I destroy everything she cares about. Starting with you. She leaves cash on the table and walks away, and I'm sitting in this cafe trying not to shake because Victoria knows. Maybe not everything, but enough. Enough to be dangerous. I call Alisandra immediately. We have a problem. She knows you're working with me. How did you? Because I would know. I would have you followed too. Iris, where are you? The cafe on 7th. She just left. Stay there. I'm coming. She arrives in under 10 minutes, which means she was already close, was probably watching, and I don't know whether to be relieved or concerned. She slides into the seat Victoria just vacated, and she's wearing sunglasses indoors like a movie villain and somehow pulling it off. Tell me exactly what she said. I repeat the conversation word for word. Alisandra listens without interrupting, and her jaw gets tighter with every sentence. She's escalating faster than I expected, Alisandra says. Which means we need to move faster too. I need you to do something for me. What? I need you to hack Victoria's phone. That's illegal. Alisandra raises an eyebrow. And everything else we've done has been what exactly? Fair point. Even if I could, I'd need physical access to her device for at least 30 seconds. So get physical access. How? Steal it. Bump into her. Spill something on her. You're creative. She's right. I am creative. I'm also terrified, but I'm choosing to ignore that in favor of spite and the memory of Alisandra's kiss, which is probably not healthy, but I'm rolling with it. Fine. But you owe me. Name your price. Dinner. Real dinner. Not warehouse pizza. Somewhere with tablecloths and wine that doesn't come in a box. She smiles. You're asking me on a date while we're actively committing espionage against your ex. I contain multitudes. Deal. We spend the next 6 hours tracking Victoria through the city. She goes to 3 different art galleries, 2 private meetings, and 1 very expensive restaurant where she meets with someone I don't recognize. Alisandra takes photos. Makes calls. Pieces together Victoria's network. She's not working alone, Alisandra says. She is backing. Money. Resources. This is bigger than revenge. Then what is it? I think she's trying to start a war. Between my family and the Donati family. If she can make it look like we're stealing from each other, if she can destabilize both organizations, she can move in and take over the territory. That's insane. That's ambition. We're parked outside Victoria's apartment building and night is falling, and I'm watching the windows trying to figure out which one is hers when Alisandra says, I need to tell you something. The serious tone makes me nervous. What? My cousin Elena. The one who blackmailed you. She's the mole. The world tilts sideways. What? I confronted her last night. She's been feeding Victoria information because Victoria promised her a cut of the profits when this is over. Elena doesn't know that Victoria plans to eliminate everyone who helped her. Does Victoria know you know? Not yet. But she will soon. Which means we're running out of time. I'm processing this, trying to understand the implications, when I see Victoria exit her building. She's on her phone. Distracted. This is my chance. I'm going, I say. Iris. But I'm already moving. I'm crossing the street and I'm walking fast and I bump into Victoria hard enough that she drops her phone and I apologize profusely while palming her device and replacing it with an identical model that Alisandra prepared earlier because apparently we're running a full intelligence operation now. Watch where you're going, Victoria snaps. Sorry, I'm so sorry. She's already walking away and I've got her phone in my pocket and I'm walking back to Alisandra's car trying not to run because that would look suspicious. Got it? Alisandra asks. Got it. She drives while I work. I'm cloning Victoria's phone, downloading her messages, her calls, her emails, every piece of data I can extract in the 3 minutes we have before she realizes the switch. And what I find makes my blood run cold. Alisandra. She's planning to kill you. Tomorrow night. At the charity gala your family is hosting. Alisandra's hands tighten on the steering wheel. Show me. I show her the messages. The blueprints. The timeline. Victoria has every detail of the gala planned out. She knows the security. The exits. The exact moment when Alisandra will be most vulnerable. She's going to make it look like the Donati family did it, I say. Start the war. And then she'll position herself as the neutral party who can broker peace. Ambitious. Insane. Both. We're driving in silence, and I can see Alisandra thinking, calculating, planning. Finally she says, we're going to let her try. I'm sorry, what? We're going to let her make her move. But we're going to be ready. And when she commits, when she shows her hand completely, we're going to take everything from her. That's a terrible plan. You have a better one? I don't. But the thought of using Alisandra as bait makes me want to scream because I just found this person, this brilliant, dangerous person who kisses me like I matter, and I'm not ready to lose her to my ex-girlfriend's revenge plot. I'm going to be there, I say. At the gala. I'm going to help. You'll be in danger. I'm already in danger. At least this way I can do something about it. She pulls over. Turns to look at me. If you do this, there's no going back. You'll be part of this world. My world. Are you sure that's what you want? And I think about my old life. My quiet apartment. My dying succulent. My safe, boring existence that felt like slow suffocation. And I think about the last 24 hours. The fear and adrenaline and Alisandra's hand in mine. I'm sure. Drop a comment if you think this plan is going to work or if Iris and Alisandra are walking into a trap because honestly it could go either way. The next evening I'm wearing a dress I borrowed from Daniela and heels I can barely walk in and Alisandra looks at me like I'm the only person in the room, which would be romantic if we weren't about to stop an assassination. The gala is excessive. Crystal chandeliers and champagne fountains and people dripping in diamonds. Alisandra's family is here in force. Her mother, who I'm told is actually terrifying. Her various uncles and cousins, including Elena, who keeps shooting me looks that could kill. She knows. I whisper to Alisandra. Let her know. We need everyone to play their part. Victoria is here too. She's wearing red, which feels appropriate, and she's working the room like she belongs, and when she sees me with Alisandra, her smile could cut glass. Iris. What a surprise. Victoria. And you must be Alisandra. I've heard so much about you. They're shaking hands and there's so much tension I'm surprised the room doesn't explode. Two women who want to destroy each other being aggressively polite at a charity gala. It would be funny if it wasn't terrifying. Lovely event, Victoria says. I hope nothing ruins it. I'm sure everything will go exactly as planned, Alisandra replies, and the subtext is deafening. Victoria drifts away, and I'm watching her in the crowd and Alisandra is next to me, and she takes my hand for just a moment. Whatever happens, she says quietly. Stay close to me. Is this really the best plan? It's the only plan. Trust me. I do. I trust her. Which is insane because I've known her for 36 hours, but somewhere between the heist and the kiss and the conspiracy I've decided that Alisandra Bellini is worth following into danger. The evening progresses. Speeches are made. Donations are pledged. And I'm monitoring security feeds on my phone watching for Victoria's move. Because I know it's coming. And then I see it. Elena slipping away from the main room, heading toward the service corridors. I follow her because the plan requires me to follow her, and I'm trying to look casual while my heart is trying to escape my chest. Elena leads me down a hallway lined with catering equipment and staff rushing past with trays of champagne. She doesn't look back, doesn't check if she's being followed, which tells me she thinks she's already won. We reach a storage room, and she slips inside, and I wait exactly 10 seconds before following. She's not alone. Victoria is there. And 3 men I don't recognize with guns that I very much do recognize as a problem. Iris, Victoria says, and she's smiling like this is exactly what she wanted. Right on time. Elena told you I'd follow her. Elena has been very helpful. Haven't you, Elena? Elena looks uncomfortable, which gives me a small amount of satisfaction. Victoria said she just wanted information. She didn't say anything about guns. Plans change, Victoria says. Iris, give me your phone. I hand it over because I don't have much choice with 3 armed men staring at me. Victoria scrolls through it and her smile gets wider. You've been busy. Tracking my movements. Cloning my phone. Very impressive. Did Alisandra teach you that, or did you figure it out yourself? YouTube tutorial. She laughs. I missed your humor. I didn't miss your betrayal. Did you really think you could play me? Did you think I wouldn't know you were working with her? Kind of hoped you'd be too arrogant to notice. One of the armed men moves toward me and Victoria holds up a hand. Not yet. I want her to watch. I want her to see what happens when you choose the wrong side. She pulls out her own phone and makes a call. It's time. Do it now. And I know what's happening. The plan is in motion. Victoria's people are moving on Alisandra right now while I'm trapped in this storage room, and I can't warn her, and I can't help and panic is clawing up my throat. You look scared, Victoria says. Good. You should be. In about 3 minutes Alisandra Bellini is going to be dead, and it's going to look like the Donati family did it, and you're going to have to live with the fact that you could have stopped it if you'd just chosen me. I will never choose you. Her expression goes cold. Then you'll die with her. The door behind me opens and I'm expecting more gunmen, but it's Daniela and she's not alone. She's brought half of Alisandra's security team, and they're all armed, and they're all pointing weapons at Victoria's people, and the room just became significantly more complicated. Drop your guns, Daniela says calmly. Or this gets messy. Victoria's men hesitate. They're outnumbered, but they're also being paid, and there's a tense moment where I genuinely can't tell which way this is going to go. And then Alisandra walks in. She's completely calm. Completely unbothered. Like she's arriving at a business meeting instead of a hostage situation. Victoria, she says. I believe you were looking for me. Victoria's face goes through several emotions very quickly. Confusion. Anger. And then understanding. You knew. This whole time you knew. Iris is an excellent actress. You should have trusted your instincts. The assassination is not happening. Your people are currently being arrested by very cooperative federal agents who were thrilled to learn about your art theft ring. Elena was kind enough to provide testimony in exchange for a reduced sentence. And those security codes Iris gave you? They led my family directly to your storage facilities. We recovered over 40 million in stolen art. Thank you for that. I'm watching Victoria's world collapse in real time, and I should feel bad, but mostly I feel relieved, because Alisandra is alive and we're not dying in a storage room. You can't prove anything, Victoria says, but her voice is shaking. I can prove everything. Iris gave me your phone, remember? Every message. Every transaction. Every person you've worked with. It's all documented. And it's all been turned over to the authorities. Victoria looks at me and there's such hatred in her eyes I actually step back. You did this. You chose her over me. I chose myself. You were just collateral damage. She lunges at me and one of her men raises his gun and everything happens very fast. Daniela is moving and Alisandra is shouting and I'm diving sideways and there's a gunshot that echoes off the walls like thunder. When I look up, Victoria is on the ground. She's not dead, there's blood on her shoulder, but she's breathing and cursing and Alisandra is next to me asking if I'm okay, and I'm nodding even though I'm definitely not okay. It's over, Alisandra says. It's done. Police are flooding in. Real police, not paid security. They're reading Victoria her rights, and she's screaming about lawyers and conspiracy and looking at me like I've destroyed her entire world, which I guess I have. Elena is crying. The armed men are being handcuffed. And I'm standing in the middle of this chaos in a borrowed dress and terrible heels trying to process the fact that we actually did it. We actually won. Alisandra takes my hand and pulls me out of the storage room, away from the noise and the blood and the flashing lights. We end up in a quiet hallway and she's checking me over like I might be injured. I'm fine, I say. You're the one who was almost assassinated. I was never in danger. You, on the other hand, walked directly into a room with armed men. That was the plan. Terrible plan. Your plan. She laughs and pulls me close and kisses me, and I'm kissing her back, and somewhere in the building my ex-girlfriend is being arrested, and I should probably feel something about that, but mostly I just feel tired and relieved and weirdly happy. We break apart and I say, so what happens now? Now we give statements to police. Now we deal with the fallout. Now we figure out what to do with 40 million in recovered art. I meant with us. Alisandra is quiet for a moment. Then she says, what do you want to happen? I want that dinner you promised me. With tablecloths and expensive wine. I want to know what your life looks like when people aren't trying to kill you. I want to see if this thing between us works outside of heists and hostage situations. And if it doesn't, then at least we'll have a good story. She smiles. I can work with that. If you've made it this far in this absolute chaos of a story, subscribe because you've earned it, and also I need you to come back for the epilogue where things get even more complicated. 3 months later, I'm sitting in Alisandra's office, which is obscenely nice, with a view of the city and art on the walls that's definitely not stolen anymore. I'm consulting for the family now, legitimate cybersecurity work that pays absurdly well and doesn't involve felonies. Mostly. Alisandra walks in with coffee and a bagel because she's learned that I can't function before caffeine, and it's domestic and sweet and so different from where we started. Morning, she says, kissing my temple. Sleep okay? Your bed is better than mine. Move in then. She says it casually, but I know she's serious because Alisandra doesn't say things she doesn't mean. We've been dancing around this conversation for weeks, and I've been avoiding it because moving in with a mob boss feels like a significant life choice. Is that a proposal? I ask. It's an offer. You can keep your apartment if you want. But you're here most nights anyway, and I like waking up next to you. And that's the thing about Alisandra. She's direct. Honest. She doesn't play games unless they're the kind that involve corporate espionage, and even then she's upfront about it. Okay, I hear myself say. Yes. I'll move in. Her smile is bright and genuine, and I'm kissing her when someone knocks on the door. Daniela walks in without waiting for permission, because apparently privacy is not a thing in this family. You're going to want to see this, Daniela says, handing Alisandra a tablet. I look over her shoulder and my stomach drops. It's a news article. Victoria Ashcroft released on technicality. Art theft charges dropped. How? I whisper. Her lawyers found a procedural error in the warrant. Judge threw out most of the evidence. She's out on bail pending retrial. Alisandra's expression is carefully neutral. When? 2 hours ago. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. But I know who it is before I even look. The message is simple. Round 2. Hope you're ready. I show Alisandra and she reads it without reaction and then sets my phone down very carefully. She's going to come after us again, I say. I know. We can't do this forever. Eventually someone is going to get hurt. Alisandra takes my hand. Looks me directly in the eyes. Iris. Do you trust me? Yes. Then trust me when I say I have a plan. And this time, we're not just stopping her. We're ending this permanently. How? She smiles, and it's the smile I've learned means she's about to do something brilliant and possibly illegal. We're going to give her exactly what she wants. We're going to let her think she's won. And then we're going to take everything. That sounds complicated. It will be. Are you in? I think about my old life. The one before heists and mob bosses and psychotic exes. The safe, boring life where my biggest problem was a dying succulent named Basil. I think about this life. The danger and the chaos and waking up next to Alisandra. The family dinners with people who casually discuss money laundering over pasta. The fact that I'm genuinely good at crime and that maybe that's not something to be ashamed of. I'm in, I say. But this time we're doing it my way. Your way. My way. I'm done playing defense. If Victoria wants a war, we're going to give her one. But we're going to be smart about it. Strategic. And when it's over, she's not going to be able to come back. Alisandra's smile gets wider. I love it when you're devious. I learned from the best. She kisses me and Daniela makes a disgusted sound and leaves muttering about how she can't take us anywhere, and I'm laughing against Alisandra's mouth. 6 months ago, I was a cybersecurity expert with student loans and no prospects. Now I'm planning corporate espionage with my mob boss girlfriend and preparing for round 2 with my ex-girlfriend from hell. Is this a good life? Probably not by conventional standards. Is this my life? Absolutely. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. But if you want to know how we take down Victoria permanently, if you want to see Iris and Alisandra actually take over the criminal underworld while also figuring out domestic stuff, like whose turn it is to do dishes, if you want to know whether Basil the Succulent survives this chaos, then you need to hit that subscribe button right now because part 2 is coming and it's going to be even more unhinged than part 1. Also comment below and tell me, Team Alisandra or Team Victoria? Because the next part is going to get messy and I need to know whose side you're on. And if you made it all the way to the end of this absolute disaster of a story, like this video because you're clearly invested in these chaotic lesbians and their crimes, and I appreciate you. Alisandra is pulling up security footage on her computer, and I'm watching over her shoulder, and she points to a timestamp. Victoria visited 3 locations yesterday. An art gallery, a shipping warehouse, and this building. I zoom in on the 3rd location. That's the Donati family headquarters. Exactly. She's making alliances. She's making enemies. The Donati family doesn't forgive easily. If she's approaching them, she's desperate. And that's when I realize something. Victoria isn't just coming after us for revenge anymore. She's coming after us because we destroyed her reputation, her network, her entire operation. She has nothing left to lose. Which makes her more dangerous than ever. We need to move fast, I say. Before she makes a move we can't counter. Agreed. I'm calling a family meeting. Tonight. Everyone needs to know what we're dealing with. She makes calls while I'm pulling up every piece of information I can find on Victoria's current activities. Bank records, social media, traffic cameras, anything that might tell us what she's planning. And I find something. A purchase order for industrial equipment. Chemicals. Supplies that don't make sense unless you're planning something very specific. Alisandra, I say slowly. I think she's planning to burn down your family's main warehouse. The one with all the legitimate inventory. That's millions in merchandise. That's the point. She can't take you down legally anymore. So she's going to destroy you financially. Make it look like an accident. Collect the insurance money before you can. By the time you recover, she'll have already moved in on your territory. Alisandra is already on her phone, calling her security team, issuing orders. She's in full boss mode and it's objectively attractive, but I'm trying to focus on the imminent arson situation. How long do we have? She asks me. I'm checking the delivery schedule for the chemicals. 48 hours. Maybe less. Then we have 48 hours to end this. She looks at me, and there's something in her expression that's part determination and part fear, and I realize that for the first time since I've known her, Alisandra is actually worried. We're going to win this, I say, trying to sound more confident than I feel. I know. But I need you to promise me something. What? If this goes wrong. If Victoria makes a move I don't see coming. You run. You take the money I set aside for you and you disappear and you don't look back. Absolutely not. Iris. No. We're in this together. You don't get to play sacrificial mob boss while I run away. That's not how this works. She opens her mouth to argue and I kiss her. Hard. Until she stops trying to protect me and starts kissing me back. Together, I say when we break apart. That's the deal. Take it or leave it. She looks at me for a long moment. Then she nods. Together. Good. Now let's go burn down my ex-girlfriend's life before she burns down yours. Alisandra laughs. Have I mentioned that I love you? The world stops. She said it casually, like commenting on the weather, but those words are hanging in the air between us, and I'm pretty sure I've stopped breathing. You love me. I manage. Of course I love you. You're brilliant and funny, and you walked into a room with armed men for me. How could I not love you? You've known me for 3 months. Best 3 months of my life. And I'm looking at this woman, this dangerous, beautiful woman who runs a criminal empire and looks at me like I'm her entire world, and I realize I love her too. I've probably loved her since the heist when she smiled at me in that vault. I love you too, I say. Which is insane because you're a literal mobster and my life was normal before I met you. Do you want normal back? Not even a little bit. She kisses me again and Daniela walks in again and yells about boundaries, and we ignore her because we have 48 hours to save everything, and I'm going to spend at least 30 seconds of that time kissing my girlfriend. The family meeting is intense. Alisandra's mother is there, and she's exactly as terrifying as advertised. Various uncles and cousins and people whose exact relation I haven't figured out yet. They're all listening as Alisandra lays out the situation. Victoria Ashcroft is planning to destroy our main warehouse, Alisandra says. She's acquiring materials for an arson attack. She has connections with the Donati family. And she will not stop until she's destroyed everything we've built. So we kill her, one of the uncles says, and he sounds so casual about murder that I'm momentarily concerned about my life choices. No, Alisandra says firmly. We're going legitimate, remember? We can't afford that kind of attention. We do this smart. We do this clean. And we make sure she can't come back. How? Her mother asks. Alisandra looks at me. Iris has a plan. And suddenly everyone is staring at me, and I'm the girl who hacks computers, not the girl who addresses mob families, but Alisandra is looking at me with complete confidence, so I stand up. Victoria wants to destroy you financially, I say. So we let her think she succeeded. We move the inventory. Replace it with worthless merchandise. Let her burn down an empty warehouse. She'll have committed arson, violated her bail, and destroyed evidence that will make sure points directly back to her. She goes to prison. Permanently this time. There's silence. Then Alisandra's mother starts to smile. I like her, she says to Alisandra. You should keep this one. I intend to. The plan is approved. We have 48 hours to move millions in merchandise without Victoria noticing. It's going to take every resource the family has. Every connection. Every favor. And I'm coordinating the entire thing from Alisandra's office with 6 computers and enough coffee to kill a normal human. Daniela helps. So does Alisandra's cousin Mateo, who's surprisingly good with logistics. We're moving trucks in the middle of the night, rerouting security, creating fake manifests and documentation that will stand up to scrutiny. Alisandra is with me the entire time, bringing me food I forget to eat, reminding me to sleep, kissing my temple when I get stressed, and throwing things at my keyboard. 24 hours in, and we're halfway done. The warehouse is emptying out. The replacement inventory is being moved in. Victoria has no idea. 12 hours left, and I'm running on pure adrenaline and spite. My eyes are burning. My back hurts. But we're almost there. 6 hours and it's done. The warehouse is full of props and worthless merchandise and documentation that leads directly back to Victoria. We've installed hidden cameras. Alerted the fire department that there might be suspicious activity. Set the trap perfectly. Now we wait. Victoria makes her move at 2 in the morning. I'm watching the security feeds, and I see her approaching the warehouse with 2 people I don't recognize. They're carrying equipment. Accelerants. Everything they need to burn the building to the ground. She's there, I tell Alisandra. We're watching from a safe location with half of Alisandra's security team. The fire department is standing by. Police are 2 minutes away on standby. Victoria and her people are inside the warehouse now. They're pouring accelerant. Setting charges. They're being so careful, so methodical, and they have no idea that every movement is being recorded in high definition. Now, I ask Alisandra. Wait. We're watching and waiting, and I'm holding my breath because if this goes wrong, if Victoria sees the trap, if she realizes the merchandise is fake, the entire plan falls apart. She lights the fire. The warehouse goes up in flames, and it's beautiful and terrible and exactly what we needed. Victoria and her people are running, and fire trucks are arriving, and police are moving in, and I'm watching Victoria's face on camera as she realizes she's surrounded. "Got you," I whisper. Victoria is arrested at the scene. Arson. Destruction of property. Violation of bail. And when investigators go through the wreckage, they find evidence that we planted linking her to a dozen other crimes. She's going away for a long time. And I'm standing next to Alisandra watching the sun come up over the city, and we did it. We actually did it. Victoria is gone. The family is safe. We won. How do you feel? Alisandra asks. Tired. Relieved. Like I should probably go to therapy. She laughs. We could both use therapy. Should we feel bad about destroying her like that? Alisandra considers this. She tried to kill me. Multiple times. She tried to destroy my family. She terrorized you for months. Do you feel bad? I think about it. About everything Victoria put me through. The manipulation. The control. The fear. And I think about the life I have now. The life I chose. Not even a little bit. Good. Neither do I. We stand there in silence, watching the city wake up, and I'm thinking about how 6 months ago I was alone and broke, and now I'm in love with a mob boss and participating in elaborate revenge plots, and somehow that feels right. My phone buzzes. It's a message from my mom, who I haven't talked to in months, asking if I'm okay and if I'm eating enough vegetables. I laugh. Text back that I'm fine. Better than fine. That I met someone. That I'm happy. I don't mention the mob stuff. Some things mothers don't need to know. Come on, Alisandra says, taking my hand. Let's go home. Home. I like the sound of that. Me too. We're walking to the car, and I'm exhausted and happy, and I realize this is my life now. Strategy and crime and stolen kisses, and a woman who looks at me like I hung the stars. Is it normal? No. Is it legal? Questionable. Is it mine? Absolutely. And if you want to know what happens next, if you want to see Iris and Alisandra run a criminal empire while also figuring out couple stuff like who does the laundry and whether they're getting a cat, then subscribe, because this story isn't over. Comment below and tell me what you thought of this chaotic mess, because I need to know if you're as invested in these disaster lesbians as I am. And like this video if you made it all the way to the end, because you're a real one and you deserve all the good things. 6 months later, and life is weird and wonderful and occasionally illegal. Alisandra and I are running the family business together. I handle cybersecurity and digital operations. She handles everything else. We're good at it. Better than good. The family has never been more profitable or more legitimate. We bought a house. Got a cat. Named him Giuseppe because Alisandra has opinions about pet names. Basil the succulent is thriving in his new environment, which feels symbolic somehow. And sometimes, late at night, I think about Victoria in prison, and I don't feel guilty. I feel free. What are you thinking about? Alisandra asks. We're in bed, and she's reading reports, and I'm supposed to be working, but mostly I'm just watching her. How different my life is now. Regrets? Not one. She sets down her reports and pulls me close. I love you, Iris Lynn. My brilliant, chaotic, beautiful hacker. I love you too, Alisandra Bellini. My terrifying, gorgeous mob boss. We kiss and Giuseppe jumps on the bed demanding attention, and life is messy and perfect and nothing like I planned. But it's mine. It's ours. And I wouldn't change a single thing. The end. If you loved this absolutely unhinged story of Sapphic mob romance and revenge, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and comment telling me what other chaotic scenarios you want to see Iris and Alisandra get into, because honestly, I could write their adventures forever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next